No, I don't. Please don't.
Please don't.
Not again. He's got like Vietnam flashbacks. Last time I asked him.
Boom, boom, boom. Is that a firework? No, it's just the first episode of 2020-21.
2020-21.
Keep it.
Yeah, bro. We're
Welcome
rolling
back,
with
everybody, to an interesting discussion sometimes. Today, I'm joined by the regular boys. That's Haran, Harsha, and Christian. And today, we're actually joined by a special guest, Drew. Introduce yourself.
I'm Drew.
All right, moving
Hi,
on.
Drew.
Yep.
What would you like the people to know about you, Drew?
They should know that I don't want to, I'm not into, my personality. I just want to let people figure that out. You know what I mean?
Okay, very, very mysterious kind of guy. I like it.
Drew, give us your Tinder bio.
Okay, so I went to college with Haran. That's my
Tinder.
connection.
That gets all the ladies.
They met on Tinder.
Yeah, that's my Tinder bio. Yeah, that's it. I know Haran, and then the rest of you guys, we've met, I think. But all right.
Okay.
Anyway, I live in DC now. I have a job. It's pretty boring, but DC is cool. Having fun there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. To be honest.
Sorry, I like the mysterious veil that we'll get to learn more about you as the episode goes on. It helps us out. It makes people want to listen too.
Yeah, that's good.
Hopefully.
I think baiting people is my only strategy left at this point. So,
You're a master of that?
Yeah, took my joke.
I think that joke is for debating. I'm pretty sure. I think it's not. I think it's not baiting. I think it's debating.
Yeah.
The
But
more the merrier.
It would work.
These are the kind of intellectual conversations we have on this
Yeah.
podcast.
100%.
But yeah, how is DC? I feel like I live pretty close to DC, but I don't really go that often to the city. But I'm sure you've already explored more of the city than I have living here in Nova for the last 20 years of my life.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue into the only thing that I came prepared to talk about, which was hating on Nova. So as evidenced by Haran's statement, nobody in Nova ever comes to DC because I think they're all afraid of it. I'm not really sure why. Which I can only conclude is it's because they're afraid of having fun or seeing other human beings throughout the course of a day. Or maybe this is I think the craziest one is walking somewhere, walking literally anywhere, besides to the mailbox. So anyway, what do I think about DC? DC's great. I guess I've been here a year and a half now. I've developed some pretty strong feelings about Northern Virginia during my time here. Specifically Arlington,
The wannabe DC.
Yeah, it is. It's just I don't get it. Anyway, this is unnecessary hate at this point. I've gone too far. I'm sure there are plenty of nice people that live there.
No. All hate is welcomed.
Okay, good.
Open arms.
Good. In that case, no, I'm kidding. I honestly don't have anything left. Yeah, DC's been good. So I was living in Logan Circle for a year and then just moved to Adams Morgan 3 months ago. Adams Morgan has been good thus far. It's a lot more neighborhoody than Logan Circle. I don't know if these names mean anything to anyone.
Logan Circle's closer to Union Square, right? Or am I wrong?
Haran, your lack of knowledge of the city that you grew up next to is honestly pretty astounding. Union Square is not even a place. That's not even a real place. Union Station.
Sorry. My bad. That's what I meant to say. Just every city has a Union Square or some kind of like that. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah. Which doesn't help you really. But yeah. So Logan Circle is it's closer to downtown, basically. So there's downtown, and then most of the residential areas are kind of radiate out in a 3/4 circle in every direction except for southwest across the river. Logan Circle is straight north of downtown, and then Adams Morgan is also north and a bit west and a bit farther away. So there are children here sometimes, which is pretty crazy. it's not something you see very often in Logan Circle.
Don't smile, Haran.
What?
He said there's a bunch of children here. You just smiled full
Why
full
can't I?
grin,
Why
bro.
can't I smile at hear my children, man? What's wrong with that?
A lot of
Just
things.
not in this context.
You guys always gotta make it weird, man. But yeah, actually, I did visit Drew recently in his Adams Morgan location.
This is true.
Yeah, his place is very nice, actually. We're very well decorated. You did a good
Thanks.
job. Yeah,
Thanks. I
nice
didn't
place.
do much of the decorating.
Drew, did Haran look scared when he came to visit you in DC?
Yeah, we actually held hands the entire time.
Oh, he does that with everybody. Don't feel special.
Yeah, but he was like trembling, which was sort of awkward. But
I was like, Drew, how much longer do you have to walk to your place, man? Just a couple more steps, man. Trust me.
for
That's just
context, we went to a restaurant, and it was
like a 4-minute walk.
I think it was actually like 3 minutes away from my apartment.
That's kind of
It was very close. Yeah, wait, we should talk about that. That was super fun.
It was a good time, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a high school reunion for Haran plus me and my girlfriend, which was pretty cool. And she did not go to high school with Haran. Just
Yes, that is true. Yeah. Wait, I think you guys. I feel like we caught ourselves having like, a lot of TJ conversations, and like we'd just peer over to you guys, and you guys would just be like nodding along, like yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You have to understand that happens with every TJ group or like gathering of more than like 5 TJers, bro. They just start reminiscing on high school, and then all the other people are just like, yeah, I had a
same thing
completely
happened to
different
Christian.
high school, completely different high school experience than you.
Like quite literally,
Fucking nerds.
Christian was with me last week, and he came along when I went to another like 5-person TJ reunion, and then Christian as well.
Yeah, bro. They just like were like, oh, you remember like so and so teacher at TJ? I'm like, bro, I don't even know the fucking name of my college professors, let alone know the name of my high school professors from like 6 years ago.
Yeah, that hangout was fun. I'm down to come meet you again in DC after that experience.
Why'd you say it like that?
that's really
Yeah,
nice
but
of
until
you.
then, I was like, dude, I don't know, man. DC, like, gotta stay away. But yeah, it made it worth it. Also, I feel like since I've been living like or trying to like go to SF more often when I'm in Stanford, I'm more used to like just public transportation, you know, and like just like going to a city now.
Yeah,
Than I
it's
was
tough.
like a year
I mean,
ago.
you have to take baby steps. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
really
lose,
hard.
lose the condescending attitude, prick. But yeah, no, it was a good time. Drew actually showed me this really fun game called Charty Party, and I will talk about this game until I become a brand ambassador. But it's a really fun game. It's like Cards Against Humanities, but with graphs.
Haran loved it so much that he asked for it on his Secret Santa gift, and he got it.
Yeah,
He told me about it.
I was like, that was the only thing on my wish list, and I was very scared that the person that had me was just gonna screw me over and get something else. But they came through.
It is a fun game. You should become a brand ambassador. I think that would be cool for you.
Yeah, we really need some sponsorships on this podcast.
I mean, to be fair, it is like the same level of like vulgarity and such. So it's actually probably the most realistic idea we've had.
no, yeah, maybe I'll reach
Not
out to
like
them.
actually going to happen realistic, but like content wise realistic.
Yeah.
It actually does have good banter, though. Like, I
Mm.
don't know how it compares to Cards Against Humanity, though. I think Cards Against Humanity is still a little bit darker, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's still good.
It's definitely Cards Against Humanity is definitely darker.
Yeah.
But like I just feel like the novelty wears off of Cards Against Humanity pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like the other thing I hate about Cards Against Humanity, they just have like random references to like some outdated like people / like
Yeah.
events, and it's just
And
like
choirs.
oh, okay. Oh, the choir, that's a goated card. The Tabernacle Choir is always the best card. I feel like I like this game a little more just because like it's like it relates to stuff that you would feel or like you know of more than Cards Against Humanity, but both good games in their own right.
Next time I play this game, since Haran's so tall and lanky, he can just be the shape of all the graphs, and we just guess what this looks like.
I can bend like that, man.
Yeah,
You can.
No, okay.
Did I ever tell you about the time there's a guy I went to high school with who's like a third circle friend or whatever, like I talk to every once in a while. And he was like 2 years older than me, and he tried to make his own version of Cards Against Humanity. Like he got like this company to like produce cards, and all it was like a very niche, like you know how Cards Against Humanity, they sold those like packs with like how you were talking about outdated shit. It's just like fucking, I don't know, World of Warcraft fucking Cards Against Humanity cards with references that only, you know, so many people would understand. He made like his own game like that. And I think Mans has sold a total of 4 boxes in like 7 years.
That's pretty good.
That's 4 more than me. So
What was the specific?
I don't know, bro.
cards?
He was a nerdy guy, so it's definitely some shit I didn't know about. But
You probably made more money on that than we did with this podcast so far.
no shot. Because it doesn't cost anything for us to produce this podcast. It costs him money to produce the cards.
What do you mean?
That's
You bought
so
mics.
weird.
That's an investment.
No.
Yeah.
That was a personal. That's on you, bro. I don't give a shit.
We actually are in debt right now. That is kind of crazy.
Do you think we
Hey,
can
if
file
you're
for
listening to this
bankruptcy?
right now, bro, like hit the like and subscribe button, like share it and all that shit, you know, please.
Do you guys have like a Patreon or OnlyFans?
We can. Yeah. Oh, we definitely have the other one. We could definitely get a Patreon.
Would you be our
100%.
first subscriber, Drew? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, not to Patreon, but otherwise.
All right, Harsha, you know the drill.
No, I don't. Please don't do it.
Please don't.
Not again. He's got like Vietnam flashbacks. Last time I asked him. Anyway.
I have a question actually.
Oh, okay.
Bombs
we're,
away.
we're open.
Do you guys have like favorite comedians? I'm always interested to hear this.
Yeah, you know Amy Schumer?
Yes.
It's not her.
Tarun loves her.
Huge
She's such a
fan.
wanker.
Tim, what have I told you about using the hard R?
It's fine, bro.
No. The British people get
You're
mad
a
at
big
you.
British slang guy too, I would say.
You said I'm good at British slang?
Yeah, I think you're well versed.
Fair.
Spit one out, buddy.
I'm not gonna bring it out. It'd be too
That's
awkward.
okay. That's okay. You know,
I'm gonna drop it
is
later
it-
in the conversation when you least expect it.
Ooh, I like that. Mysterious.
A man of
guy.
many surprises. I like it.
Yeah.
My favorite comedian.
We talked about this like a few months ago, but I would say like all my favorite comedians are like political commentary type thing rather than like stand up or that kind of thing, like John Oliver or that kind of vibe.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I see some stand up comedians or like there'd be like YouTubers or like whatever that also do stand up comedy. That's not like their primary thing, but I would say like that kind of vein of like, I mean, I like offensive comedy, and that's gotten a lot harder to do because of like the societal structure and like people take things very literally. I mean, a lot of it is like it's offensive, so I can understand that. But you know, you have to have the right crowd and that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit more niche nowadays.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm on the other side of the fence. I mean, I still like offensive stuff, but I don't like the political stuff. I think my favorite comedian, or probably the same as Ron, actually, is probably Trevor Noah. I think he does talk about political stuff here and there, but I think it's more about like his experiences, and his like accents are fucking amazing.
Yeah,
as
his
well,
impressions
it
are
makes
so
it-
good.
yeah.
Dude. So
It's
good.
true. Yeah.
So he's goated.
I think to add to what I said because I think we talked about this in the Kavya episode,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think I talked about Trevor Noah then. But I guess also other people I would consider are like Conan. But Conan's like not like a stand-up comedian, but just like his sketches that he does, like just him like
Yeah.
traveling to other like countries and stuff. Like the way he interacts with people is hilarious. And another one, I guess like he does stand up. But I think he's like best in like sketch writing would be John Mulaney. I think he's pretty funny.
Drew, who's your favorite?
That's a good question. You'd think that I would have prepared an answer for this question having asked it 4 minutes ago now. I usually say Bo Burnham.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always, he'll always be a legend. But his latest special like wasn't my favorite ever, which is probably a very controversial opinion for Bo Burnham fans. I think I watched a bunch of specials recently with this guy James Acaster, who's a British comedian. He's English, and he's they're just really like witty, and funny, which I guess is the point. But yeah, I think it might be him now, James. No, it's still. Listen, I have an answer, man. I have an answer.
That's all right.
Okay, Bo Burnham is final answer. Bo Burnham.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like the English, or I don't know if it's English or British, but like that style of comedy where it's just kind of very like in plain sight, kind of comedy. Like,
Yeah.
they're not trying to get you to go through all these like mental gymnastics to try and get to the joke. It's just kind of very straightforward. So yeah,
True.
it's a good style. Harsha, you haven't answered. Is it because you don't laugh ever?
I don't have an answer because I don't laugh ever.
You can't just copy.
That's
what
fair.
You just said yes.
Yeah, I don't really know my answer. I don't really watch that many specials or like content from comedians to think about it. I know in middle school and like elementary school, I thought like Kevin Hart was really funny, just because he was funny for me at that time. But now it's not funny.
He's just what?
He's just
He's
what?
just
kinda loud.
there. It's
Just
kind of like the
saying.
same thing, same type
It's
of
'cause
thing. He like acts really like loud and blah blah blah. So it's
'cause
not.
he's short.
I know.
It's because he's
I
short.
was just gonna say, I know that's what it is. He's short.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Def-
that's why I related at 6th grade, and then now I'm probably taller than him. I hope. Am I?
Yeah, he's like five. Dude, he's like 5'3" or 5'2". Something.
Oh, good.
He's
okay.
not 5'2", is he?
Yeah, yeah.
He's
not
actually
so-
really short. I think
Yeah,
he
he's-
might be shorter than I am.
He's
Dang.
really short, buddy. It's rough,
Yeah.
man. But shout out to him for making like hundreds of millions,
Yeah.
Yeah,
even
bro.
though he's short.
Him and The Rock are like somehow like The Rock is like a huge like I don't know. Rock's probably like 6'6" or something like that. Man's built. And then there's Kevin Hart, and they're like in every fucking movie together. It seems like.
I don't think he's funny, but like whenever he does that flustered voice, it always makes me laugh. I don't know why.
What
But, like,
flustered
like,
voice?
Like he'll come on like sports shows and like he'll just get like super agitated, like on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and like that makes me laugh. But like I just like his stand ups in general are like kind of meh, and like his movies, like his movie comedies are definitely I don't really enjoy that
Oh,
much.
you want to know somebody who I thought was really funny until I learned what actual comedy was? And Jeff Dunham with the ventriloquism and such.
Yeah.
I was like,
Wait, that's
oh,
the 9/11.
yeah, the dead terrors, bro. Yeah, that shit was OG.
Was it Akbar or whatever? Something like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ahmed or Akbar or or whatever. But yeah, that was. I mean, he's still like a couple laughs here and there, but you know, more mental, comedy.
Yeah.
Other than just funny voices. Even though I do love me a good funny voice every once in a while, right, Ron?
That it is? I don't know.
I don't know. You just have a funny voice, bro.
Thanks, man.
You know who else has a funny voice?
Who?
Anderson .Paak.
That's a crazy pivot, man.
I mean, he does have a funny, like he has a very unique voice.
That's a pretty room temperature take. Actually, I would agree with that.
Every time he hits the yes Lord, bro, it just has that unique sound to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't just bring up Anderson .Paak out of nowhere. I've been cued in that he's one of your favorite artists, Drew. Is that correct?
He is. Yeah. I don't know if he's one of my favorite, but I like him a lot. The latest stuff that he did with Bruno Mars, pretty good. I don't know anyone who didn't enjoy that. Maybe someone on this podcast. I don't know.
I was a fan.
Yeah.
I was a big fan.
It's good.
I only didn't enjoy it because I haven't heard it.
Same.
That's sad.
I knew it was coming out, but I forgot that it came out. So,
Wait, none of you guys listened to it? Are you serious?
yeah, man. I knew it was like,
Wow.
I thought it was coming out like in the future. I didn't know it already
But I'm
came
sure you've
out.
heard like some of the songs at least, right?
But do you think I listened to the radio?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
You think I listened to Rap Caviar or whatever the other shit is? No. But it will be on the list. It will be on the list for sure. Especially after the concert he did at Tech. Definitely a great performer, great guy, great artist. The first time I ever heard him was on that Dr. Dre album that came out at the same time as Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard his voice, and I thought, wow, this dude has a very, I mean, like how I introduced him, he has a very unique, that kind of like raspy, jazzy voice kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very memorable.
Yeah. That's true. He actually used to be a wedding singer. Like, not many people know that. But
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
he used
Wait,
to do like...
How old is he?
He's...
probably late.
62?
I would say he's probably late 20s, right?
Plus or minus.
35.
Yeah, I don't know.
35.
Okay.
Really?
That's pretty
I think
old.
so.
Yeah, he's kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think he spent a abnormally large number of years kind of being a low life for how successful he is. Like he was like not making it for quite a long time.
Yeah. I thought he
True.
was younger because his song, I think, is pretty young, but maybe that's like, you know, I saw like videos and stuff a few years ago, and so his son's probably like 10 now or something like that. Great dude.
So who are your top artists now, Drew? Who's taking over?
In the least elitist way possible, nobody is going to know them. It's only because they're just super niche. I mean, recently I like Kate Bollinger a lot. Don't know if anyone knows who that is.
No, you
Midnight
need to
Trust.
translate.
I love her.
What kind of music does she do?
Like indie R&B adjacent things. That's kind of like my preferred genre at the moment. Wait, actually, Spotify put a name to this. Indie, I think it was indie soul.
Ooh.
Indie soul.
Very
Yeah.
intrinsic guy.
Didn't know that was a genre, but guess that's who I am now. So
It's okay. Harsha's from Chicago rap.
Yeah, that's one of my genres on my Spotify Wrapped.
wait, that's why are you hating on Chicago rap? I mean,
No, but it's not really a genre. It's more
oh,
like
that's
a,
fair. I mean,
you know.
yeah. Somebody, one of my friends, one of their top genres was like, oh, what the fuck? It was like angsty pop or something. That just didn't make sense. It was like two words that were completely antithetical. Like it didn't make any sense. And
What
they
is
just
that,
left
like,
them
just
I mean,
Olivia
Indie pop is like
Rodrigo
Avril
only?
Lavigne, right?
Actually, true. Yeah.
I think it's like 2000. I think 2000s pop music was kind of angsty.
Damn, you really actually just shot that down.
Damn. Can't do that to our guests, Ron. Come on.
I thought what I said was actually like pretty funny, clever.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go what I said,
Yeah.
Christian. Go what I said.
Yeah, just cut that out.
Just leave it to normal. What he said, and then we'll move on to something else.
It's okay. I think most people probably would have stopped listening after my intro. So,
No, man, they're waiting to hear more about you.
Yeah, let's get into more about you.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
let's do it.
Like an onion, you know, we're peeling back the layers, you know.
Yeah, I have like at least 2 layers. So
World's most
Let's get into
hollow
it.
onion.
let's get into it.
So
All right, so there's one person on this podcast that very dislikes the city that you're from. So I'm gonna let him talk about why he disliked the city, and then you can defend your city if you want. I also know you don't like your city that
Wow.
much either, but I'll let Hosh just
Okay, I'm gonna save my words. Go first.
I have nothing against the actual city. I think it looks pretty cool on the picture because the rivers look cool. But I've never actually been to like the city part. I've been to the temple, but besides that, I hate the Steelers, so I just hate the city of Pittsburgh. And yeah, that's basically it.
This is it.
It's a pretty shite argument if you ask me.
I don't
Right.
even think I need to have a rebuttal to that. I
Yeah.
feel like that argument just like it's like self-defeating.
That's what we call
You
Hosh.
you don't like this city because of a group of people that play a sport there. I don't understand.
Yeah,
does
that's
this
pretty
even-
much it. Because they all support like a rapist and stuff.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God. Wait, what? Troy Polamalu raped somebody?
No.
No.
Heinz Ward. It was Heinz Ward.
I thought it was Ben.
No,
Wait,
it was
Heinz
Ben. No, it's not. Also, ask me to name any Steelers player, and it will be from like, what would that be? Probably 10 years ago, because that is when I stopped watching football. So-
And my friend went to school in Pittsburgh, and he hates it for I don't even know why. He just hated it before he even got there. Then he thought he would
What?
like it when he got there. Then he fucking hates it now.
That just
But-
feels. Neither of these are good examples. I'm not convinced.
But do you like it?
If he already hated it. Okay, so I grew up in the suburbs, which I hate the suburbs everywhere. They should all be eviscerated. But not the people in them, like, it's not their fault,
okay.
you know? Like,
It's not their
it's not their fault. This is how we've chosen to build our cities, and it was a massive mistake. But what are you going to do? You got to buy a house somewhere. So anyway, yeah, but the city itself, I think, is actually reasonably nice for, like, you know, an American
Like a
city.
third
at
class
least.
city.
Yeah, it's cool. I think what I like about Pittsburgh is that it feels like a real place, you know? Like,
You
Yeah,
lost
maybe
me with
that's
that
just-
one, man.
okay. So, like, when you go to Manhattan,
Mm.
you know,
Mhm.
or even DC. So like Manhattan, it's just like it feels like a little bit like a tourist attraction and a little bit like some kind of banker's fairy tale world. Like it's like not, it doesn't necessarily feel super like, it's harder to imagine people like growing up there, living there. And I mean, it happens, but like, and then DC is, at least among like, this gets into pretty like contentious. It's a pretty contentious statement racially, but when you look at like at least the white people that live in DC, it's pretty homogenous. You know, like everyone does something related to politics or policy, and like lots of people are kind of the same. But Pittsburgh isn't like that. Where am I going with this?
Is it like, aren't they all like blue collar, like, you know?
Yeah, it's like there's more variety in what people do for a living, and like it just feels more homey in a way.
I see.
Like I would prefer DC now ultimately, because there are more neighborhoods here that I would like to live in. But Pittsburgh has also changed a lot in my lifetime. Like there's some areas that are pretty rapidly gentrifying. I mean, that's happening everywhere. But another interesting thing I think about Pittsburgh is that it's not like really in a region. Like it's definitively not Northeast. Like Philadelphia is Northeast. That's like very far away. People from the Midwest will tell you that it is not in the Midwest. And then it's like not the South.
I was like, we don't want you.
Yeah.
So like, it's really not in a region. I think it's most Midwestern in culture. But it's definitely
but how much
like,
corn does Pittsburgh produce? You know, we grade the Midwest states based on the corn production.
There's some corn, actually. There's some corn in Pittsburgh. I mean, not like in the city, but presumably they're also not growing corn like in Cleveland. Or
they're not growing shit in Cleveland. Not just corn.
I don't know if
bacteria.
I don't know if their river has caught on fire again lately.
Oh, I love the Midwest trash talk. That's what we call them.
Everybody, Pittsburgh. So I think people in particularly like the Rust Belt just cling on to like what other cities are worse off than they are, because the only other ones that are worse off than they are also in the Rust Belt, because like nowhere else in the country. So it's like, you know, Pittsburgh is like, oh, Cleveland's such a horrible place. And I think people in Cleveland say that about Detroit. Like Detroit. Yeah. And people in Detroit, I think they just give up. They're like, like,
you got
on it. Like people say that and just like, yeah, fair. Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? So Buffalo is often left out. And I feel like
Buffalo's like too Canadian. It's like
Buffalo is, I don't know. I drove through Buffalo once and it was like aggressively sad. But
is your car okay?
Car was fine. Yeah. I think. I don't know. I mean, like emotionally, I felt. Okay.
I should have made
Shut
a
up.
dumbass joke, man. It just went over everybody's head.
No, I got it.
Oh, okay. Then why didn't you laugh?
It was
because I got it.
I'm still thinking about the reference, which is embarrassing. Someone might need to explain it to me.
He drove through a buffalo?
I got it.
So
Are you happy you got it? Are you happy you got it though, Drew?
It's not that bad.
I'm not happy. I had to think about it, but I'm not happy. Yeah. I wish it were not explained to me.
He just lets out like one tear.
It's too
dark. That would feel like the city of Buffalo now. Just aggressively sad.
One tear. That's actually their mascot. It's just a buffalo with a single tear.
And it's frozen.
I've literally this is of all of the shade that I've thrown thus far, this is the least fair. Like, I've genuinely driven through the city once. I know absolutely nothing about it. So that's just...
No, we love a first impression shit down on whatever city you go to. It's okay.
Yeah. All I know about Buffalo is the fans are hella passionate. But the city,
it's so cold, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I give them hella props, dude. These guys like show up for their team in the mad cold weather. They're definitely mentally insane, but
a lot of tables.
Yeah, they're breaking tables. Bills Mafia is legit.
Bro, they definitely have some sort of brain condition from driving their head into the ground and through the table so many fucking times.
Yeah,
the children are probably born with CTE. Like,
oh my god,
it's genetic at this point.
All right, the 4 of us are going to Buffalo sometime soon.
Hell no.
Actually, 5. Drew, you can show us around.
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know the
drive us
city.
there.
I know the city well. I don't remember. I just blacked out. I don't remember what I just said, but I actually know the city really well. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Buffalo, has anybody been to like Montreal, which isn't Buffalo, by the way? It's also, I think, actually quite far from Buffalo. But has anybody been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
What did you
And?
think?
Oh, I thought it was pretty nice. You know, I got to relearn some of my French a little bit. I know
Ooh,
what exit means on the
relearn.
highway. Oh, I
Drop that
learned.
in
I took French in
subtly.
high school, so I know like a little bit of words.
Okay.
Arch has never said a single word in French in this podcast.
Yeah, I never have. But from
Okay.
the highway, I know that sortie means exit. So there we go.
Sortie. Ooh.
Yeah.
Sortie? Like sortie?
Sort IE.
Sortie.
Yeah.
Sortie.
Wait,
Low.
and the underground mall there is pretty nice, pretty cool concept, and
Concept. So it's
Huh?
bad in execution?
I mean, once you go down there, you don't think you're in the underground mall. You think you're just in a mall. So like, you don't really. But like the concept of going down underground to look at a mall is nice. I just thought I'd see more rocks and stuff, but I didn't.
It's not a game.
You're not going like fossil digging.
Yeah, he's not going to the mine.
Next community.
Imagine walking into like a Forever 21 that it's like damp and dark and candlelit,
In a cave.
but it still smells like Forever 21.
You have to fucking discover your clothes before you can buy
Yeah,
them.
you're right.
That would be wow, a very confusing sensory experience. I think that would be.
Have you been to Montreal, Drew?
No, I want to go. That's why I brought it up. It's like very high on my list. I
Check
think
out
it
the
just
mall.
it feels like a very unique place in North America. You know, it's like sort of European and like.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I think Montreal and Miami must be the only two like really large, truly bilingual cities in North
Oh, I
America.
thought you could say the biggest cities would be with M.
That's crazy because those 2 cities are going to be hosting F1 races next year or this coming year.
Really?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like a cool place culturally. It seems pretty unique. And I've heard good things. I have a friend here who went to McGill, and he loves Montreal. So, I don't know why he's here.
I thought in Toronto.
yeah, it's in Montreal.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what schools are in Toronto.
There is one.
University of Toronto, probably.
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 Yeah.
I agree with you on the bilingual. I think there's a lot of in the south of the US, people like to think it's just like, I don't know, Mexican, Hispanic people there. But I think Miami itself, I mean, obviously there's a huge Cuban population there, but there's a ton of other Central and Southern American migrants that go to Miami just because, you know, where it's located. And yeah, you're right. I think there, and then the Canadian border of the US, like towards like Wisconsin, I think has a very like, there's like a blend of like Northern American,
What?
Canada.
like Northern United States is what I really mean.
Okay.
To like the Southern Canadian border where it becomes like very blended of like
Like
Minnesota.
Windsor?
Fucking.
Actually, no, Windsor's next to Detroit.
That's a tie, bro. What do you mean?
No, Windsor's a city.
That's true.
Well,
Windsor, Ontario,
that's the
right?
one that's the one next to Detroit, though. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fucking. Why would I know that?
You're the one talking about it.
Yeah, but I don't know about the Windsor where they invented the knot for the ties, bro. I don't care. But like, there's that blend of like French Canadian to like Northern United States. There's like a blend there of like French and there's actually a ton of cultures like in Montreal and Toronto. They have like a huge melting pot, which I don't think maybe LA and Miami are like the other cities that are like tons of different cultures in the same place. And I guess New York
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Um,
Cleveland too.
Cleveland has a big Slavic population there, bro.
Yeah.
Cleveland?
Wait, what? Did you say Slavic? What?
Yeah, Slavic.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I only know this because like one time when Doncic went there, and like he was with someone else, like they had like a big ass Slovenian crowd show up, and another time like Jokic went there and the big like Serbian crowd. Like
Can you back up this information?
Cleveland, Chicago.
Cleveland's famous for some type of food there that's part of that region in Europe, but I couldn't eat it, so I don't know anything about it. I don't even know what it's called.
It wasn't pierogi, right?
No, that's Polish.
Okay, yeah, because that's big in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Mm.
No.
Circling back.
But if you go to Montreal, I don't recommend driving. Please, just take the flight. We drove as a family, and it wasn't good.
Oh, fair. Okay. Well, I don't like driving anywhere, so.
You know, when you drive, you need to take like a pit stop every once in a while for a little break, and that's what we're gonna do to listen to this ad. We'll be right back.
And lights out, away we go.
What?
I definitely got that wrong because that's how they started F1 race, but we're back, guys. And going off what we were talking about before about the northern United States.
Yeah, I get it. All right.
Drew, I was made aware that you took a trip without me to the northern part.
What are you, his dad?
Yeah. Specifically Montana. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
That is true.
Take that smile off your face.
It's staying.
Yeah, but tell us about it. How was it?
Montana was good. I actually went twice.
Oh.
I don't know if you knew that either. So
I didn't know that. No.
Sorry to break that to you live on air.
Sorry, I'm gonna move to Buffalo real quick, fit in with my people.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Anyway, yeah, it was good. So I was there in March of last year, which is the winter. So there was snow, did some skiing, which was really cool.
Nice.
And then I was visiting a friend, Austin, who lives there, and does some AmeriCorps stuff there, which is cool. And then went back in the summer with a few more people, and we went to Glacier National Park, which is like an hour away from where he lives in Whitefish. So it was very pretty. Had a good time. Saw a bear, which was cool and terrifying.
How close?
Like pretty far, actually. But you have to understand
the severity of the situation.
All of this is relative to, it's like my threshold for fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So were most people scared? I don't think so. I don't think they were scared. I was scared, but yeah, the bear was pretty far away. We were also in our car, like had a pretty easy escape, to be honest.
Were you driving?
We were driving and then we stopped. And there were a bunch of people on the side of the road all looking at this bear.
Oh, I meant specifically, were you driving the car?
I was not driving.
Okay.
No.
So you were like in the back where like if the bears would get you, they'd get everyone in the front and then get to you last, and you're still the most scared in the car.
Why do you think bears are so like analytical about where they go first?
What if the bear's chasing them? He's closer.
But the car's
That's
faster
true.
than the bear.
Not brother
I
bear.
don't know.
Thank you, Harsha.
Anyway, bears. Am I right? Bears. So, yeah, hiking was actually pretty incredible, though. Would highly recommend Glacier National Park if anyone is.
How intense were the hikes? Would you say?
Fairly intense. A couple of them weren't that bad, but we did one, which I think was our first hike, which is pretty funny in hindsight. It was like 14 miles.
Oh my God.
Pretty intense.
How long did that take you?
That took us like, I think it might have been like 8 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was pretty long. It was pretty though. It was also that day it rained a bit and was also fairly cold. Even though it was the summer, and it was insanely windy. So that added some fun to the hike. But yeah, it was cool. I had a great time. Some people I think weren't thrilled that we did the 14-mile hike the first day in the wind and rain. But
couldn't be you.
I had a good time. Yeah, it couldn't be me. The thing is that I'm actually really tough. Yeah, that is what the thing is. So
that's also his Tinder bio.
The thing is pretty tough.
That's just correct. I don't actually know what to say to Yeah, I feel a little bit uncomfortable that everyone's laughing because he just said a true statement. And for those of you who are paying attention in the beginning of this, you did hear it right that I do have a girlfriend, but I also do still have a Tinder bio. I don't actually have Tinder.
Yeah.
It just has the bio.
Just has the bio.
I just have the bio.
What kind of hikes do you like to do? Do you like to do ones that are more like long form, like more scaling a lot of distance, or
like
are you
30 like 30 pagers?
Yeah, exactly. Or are you like, oh, I want to climb like the highest peak in the area? Like, what's your type of hike?
It's a good question. I don't usually discriminate, but I like
it's okay.
peaks.
Usually.
I like peaks in general. I feel like it's a nice reward for the work, but I've done some longer hikes as well, like multi-day things that were fun. But yeah, I don't do that much hiking anymore because now I live in DC and I don't have a car, so that's a bummer. But it's a trade-off, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't really answer your question.
that's okay.
Did I? Yeah.
All I heard was I like both, and that's good enough for me.
Okay.
Are you a big
Glad that
outdoors
you-
person in general?
Like, no, I don't. So I feel this way about many of my qualities. I think that people who are genuinely outdoorsy would be like, this guy, he's not outdoorsy.
I see.
But people who are really not outdoorsy would be like, that guy's pretty outdoorsy. Like,
Did
Yeah,
you
I've
know
seen
Norway.
him.
when Drew suggested like a 4-minute walk to his place instead of like an Uber, I was like, whoa.
Well, what is this?
guy-
Fucking
he's got a little
Man
2
versus
hours.
Wild? Holy shit.
He's trying to kill us, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
I see.
I feel the same way about like the way I dress, right? Like sometimes my pants are cuffed. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I don't want to offend
Whoa,
anyone.
you gotta
but-
be careful with those kinds of statements.
And like, you know, some people are like, oh my God, look at this guy. What a hipster. And then, you know, it's like, have you been to Brooklyn? Like I'm not a hipster, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I get what you're saying. Like you're not heavily one or the other. You're just kind of in the middle of a lot of things.
I'm having an identity crisis live
okay.
right now. This is what's
Okay.
happening.
Yeah, we stop laughing, guys. We stop laughing.
Trying to talk through it. I thought this
Sorry.
was like a receptive group, but
You're
picked the wrong one.
Yeah, you're in the wrong podcast.
Apparently not.
I'll send you some other podcasts you can join after if you want to talk about it. Yeah.
yeah,
Not us.
that'd be good.
Yeah, we like to create problems for our guests and then not solve them. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do it with ourselves too.
So for those of you who don't know, Drew is very passionate about. Well, I'm not gonna say very. He works in sustainability.
Did you not just listen to what he said? He's not one or the other. but he's-
Exactly. So I'm just asking, do you feel the same way about that now?
Good question. No, actually, this is one I do feel pretty strongly about. But
Oh,
like,
good.
I don't understand why it's such a big like. What I don't understand is why it's such a big part of people's identity. Like,
Mhm.
I think people assume this is going to come off sounding really arrogant, isn't it?
No, do it.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I think like people assume that. I think what I don't understand is that because sustainability I don't think sustainability should be like a thing. You know,
Yeah.
to me, it's just like a very reasonable way to like move through the world and like live your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like people are like, oh, you're super into sustainability, like you do this, and I'm like, I don't like it doesn't feel that radical to me.
Yeah.
I think it's just like it has become.
Yeah.
It just I don't think it should be such a thing. I mean,
Mm.
in
It should be
fact,
a
as long as it is,
standardized way of looking.
yeah, like it's
Yeah.
it's just like just be a thing. But anyway, I think what I just said was I don't understand why it's such a thing. It should just be a thing.
I get what you're saying though. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people that are like really into that stuff are very preachy about it because they want to help, which is a good thing. But it's not like we don't obviously hear the people that are more like you where it's just kind of a part of their life, but they don't like I guess pressure it onto others, if that makes sense.
I mean, to be fair,
Here we go.
I don't think anyone would say I'm not preachy about it. Don't give me that credit. Like I've definitely put pressure on people, and usually it doesn't work. So not a good strategy.
It's also like, are you doing it to be performative? Like you just want to show that like, oh, I'm super into sustainability because it's good for the world and it makes me look better? Or are you doing it because, you know, like you actually just want the world to be a better place? You know, there's two different kinds of people who do it like that too. And so I feel like, you know,
At this point, I don't even think it is like making the world a better place. Like it's like kind of necessary for us to like move on.
Yeah, but some people like
climate.
if you think about people our age that are doing it like performance, like do it as a just like a thing to like say that they're being a better person.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck that the world's gonna end in 120 years when they're dead. You know?
Yeah, like they put their like bamboo toothbrush on their Instagram story.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, I'm on my journey to
I saved 10,000 turtles with this one toothbrush, you know?
Yeah. It's a single toothbrush. Relax. But yeah, no. Thank you for that judgment. I think that's probably mostly true. I think it's not much of a performative thing for me, but I am happy to shame people. So
good.
That's not great. That's not
debatable.
No, it's very like counterproductive. Like usually my goal is, oh, you should do this, you know, X thing more sustainably because it would be better for the world. And to get you to do that, I'm going to shame you, which then, you know, that's a great emotion to evoke in people when you're trying to get them to change their mind about something.
If you could give like some like a couple of tips to like to our listeners, or even us, I
shame
guess.
us,
just to like help us lead more sustainable lifestyles moving forward, you know.
Honestly, I think that, I mean, I guess easy is a relative term, but like the thing that most people could do fairly easily is just like eat less meat whenever you're able. And I think, okay, actually this is a good tip. So lots of people decide like, I'm going to be a vegetarian, and then inevitably it fails because like commitments like that are hard to keep. So like, just don't be a vegetarian. Like, just don't do it. Just eat less meat. Like, which I think is hard for some people to think about, but like, it's not like if you're unless you are, there are like 3 reasons you can be vegetarian, right? It's like health, I guess 4 actually: health, ethics, religion, or sustainability. And like, if your main goal is like sustainability, then eating meat every once in a while, it like doesn't really matter that much. And if it enables you to like sustain a lower meat diet longer, then that's ultimately like a better choice than trying to be vegetarian purely. So I think that is a good tip. Apart from that, and like the same thing with veganism, like if you're already vegetarian and you're trying to go vegan, then like just do it occasionally. Like just do it when you want. The easy thing to do is like have most of what you cook be vegetarian, and then like when you go out for a meal and you want to enjoy something, like get whatever you want. But like there's no reason to put harsh rules on yourself. It's like unnecessary. Yeah. And then other than that, I think that's the one that applies to most people. I don't know, if you live in an area where you can like walk or bike places, try to do that. Don't be insane with your thermostat, like having it 62 in the summer and like 85 in the winter. Like, don't do that. Just like put on a sweatshirt or whatever. Yeah. Think about where you live. I guess that's the last one. I'm going to keep going now, I guess.
Right.
As much as you're able to, consider trying to live somewhere where you can like do a lot of what you need to do on
so
either
get the
like
fuck out of the suburbs, everyone.
Move to DC.
But that's not, I mean, that's not fair though. Like not everyone's able to. I mean, DC is expensive, right? So like if you have a family, especially, it's not realistic because like we've chosen to build most of our houses in a like single family style, most of which dates back to like really racist zoning rules, which is really fun, you know.
Very fun. Very fun.
Yeah. So it's nice that when you look at like the way the country's laid out and you're like, wow, what a disaster. Why did they do this? And then you learn it's just racism. So that's just like, it's like icing on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was a really fun way to end. But
So
Yeah.
just don't eat meat or eat less meat and don't be a racist.
yes,
Don't be a
that. Don't be a racist. If you
That's
buy
like-
a house in the suburbs, you are a racist.
Christian just pretty much zoned out all of it. Just heard the first and last thing you said.
No, man. I love the part about the cars. Anyway.
Yeah, you talking about like city design actually kind of like, because I know like in college you talked about urban planning a good amount, and like that's something you want to pivot to maybe further in your later in your career. But like that like made me think like for you, what would the ideal city be or look like, or like if there's already a city out there that you like already think is like the ideal like setup, what is it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the easiest thing to do is to criticize and like not actually offer any constructive solutions, which is generally my strategy. But I mean, I think people who especially like cities that are bike friendly kind of like fetishize the Netherlands and everything there, and I'm unfortunately one of those people. But I don't know if there's a specific city in the Netherlands, but just the way that they lay out most of their cities is pretty reasonable. It's not super dense. It's not like super low density. They have like really safe routes for you to bike on. It's just like very integral to the way that they design all of their streets now. And yes, I mean, a city like, honestly, probably not Amsterdam because it's so touristy now. And I think there's probably a lot of stuff there that caters to that. They're actually trying to get rid of tourists there because the residents hate it. But some other city in the Netherlands, it would be pretty close to that ideal. And I think they're pretty proactive in like predicting future housing demand to deal with like affordability. And they build a lot of new neighborhoods and like make sure that they're linked with sustainable modes of transit. And they have like this nationwide rail system that's basically like a metro system for the whole country because the trains are so frequent and like everything is so well connected.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like the size of Ohio. So like
it'd be easier to pull off.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to pull off. But we could do that in the Northeast if we really wanted to. And we kind of do between like New York and Boston. But yeah, no, I mean, if you get into this stuff, you'll end up hearing a lot about the Netherlands. And they just sort of got lucky that they've like prioritized making places that are like nice to be in and safe. Like they were one of the few places to kind of kick back against the like proliferation of cars in the 50s and 60s. So they're very much just like 50 years ahead of where we are now. And I say that not in like a bad way necessarily. It's just like they did a lot of tinkering with like road design and stuff like 40 years ago. And now
they're reaping the benefits.
Yeah, so like when we get a bike lane here, it's like a big deal. It's like, damn, they just installed a bike lane, and like there, it's become standard practice.
Yeah.
So, anyway, this isn't that interesting, so we can move on.
It's
But
it's 100% a topic that we never talk about because we don't know anything about it. So it's interesting to hear about. I mean, everybody, I think you're right. They know about like the Scandinavian countries or the Netherlands or whatever, where they have good practices on how their cities are built or how they have like really good healthcare or that kind of stuff. Like their quality of life is better, but nobody like they know that as a generalization. They don't know how it's like implemented on like a person to person basis or something like that.
Yeah, I will say, since we're on this topic, I'll keep boring people. I will say that I think the single most interesting and misunderstood thing about like Western European cities in terms of their design is that like I think we often assume when we visit them like, oh, the city's so old, like it must have always been like this. Like they basically just got lucky that their cities are old and they've like retained their charm. But like in the 70s and 80s, that was like 100% not true. A lot of the like plazas in European cities were parking lots. And all of those like tiny streets that have become pedestrianized were full of cars, and it was like a shit show. So they have also like, there's been a lot more conscious effort to make their cities more people friendly than people think. But the good thing is, if anyone in the US ever wanted to care a lot of the work has already been done because they've like done a lot of tinkering with design and stuff, and like we can just kind of copy over a lot of what they've done for certain things. Yeah, we should move on. I'm really beating this one on the ground.
No, that was really
Well,
interesting. That's why we're all quiet.
Yeah, we're all absorbing your knowledge. From your experience, what would you say is the more, I don't know about eco-friendly, but like sustainable city between where you've lived in, well, you live in Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? Pittsburgh and DC. Or Blacksburg.
I mean, I would say DC. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just because like they have a metro. So
I see.
like you can, and it's much more bikeable than Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
But like the thing is like DC, because the whole thing is a city, like if it were to make claims about sustainability,
Yeah.
it would probably ignore the like 4 million other people that are in the DMV who commute to DC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a factor too. But yeah, probably DC.
What's like one extra change you would make to DC to make it like that extra step of like looking towards the future a bit more with like its development?
I would actually not make the change to DC. I would make the change to like the DC area to add more like medium density housing outside of DC. Because there's a lot of it in DC, like the row houses, which I think is a density that like a lot of people have found that is pretty enjoyable. It's not overwhelming, but there's also like people around and stuff. And once you leave DC, there just isn't that much of that. So there are parts of DC that are oddly pretty suburban, and those could probably be like upzoned, adding in some housing. But yeah, I think outside of DC needs more work.
I think that's what they've kind of done with like Roslyn and like Boston. They kind of just made that into like extensions of DC. But I think you've already made your point clear about Arlington. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, they're just like, it's like a little mini. It's just like a bunch of towers around a metro station. Like I don't know. It doesn't have a whole lot of like the same feel. But I think it's because it doesn't have that like medium density. That's not high rises, but it's also not like single family homes.
Yeah, that's true. Most of them are towers.
Yeah, but and doing that also would make DC a cheaper place to live, because I think a lot of the housing pressure in DC is because like it's such a small area, and like once you go outside of DC, then it's mostly the suburbs. But yeah, that's what I would do. Was that an answer? I don't know.
That's a great answer.
Haran, as a big biker yourself, now you think you're gonna keep biking when you move out of Stanford, or you like it, or you're gonna
I'll
leave
be
your
down.
bike there?
Yeah, I don't know if I will keep my bike. I most likely will, because like my policy that I managed to get on my bike was like I can sell it back for half the price, which isn't too bad. So I think I might just do that, and then if I go like live in another city, maybe I'll reinvest in a bike, because it is pretty nice to have one. The only thing at Stanford is like, I guess like in most biking areas, like I feel like the fear of thefts of like stuff is kind of high. At least it was at my campus, and I got one of my bike lights stolen off my bike, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I mean, in general, like just biking to class instead of walking is a lot more convenient. And especially back in college, I drove my car to campus every day, which was fun. But like I pretty much get the same level of enjoyment from biking, and it's also just a bit better for me, get my heart pumping before classes. But yeah, I think I'd see myself continuing to bike in the future if I'm in the right city to do so.
Yeah, you definitely have to be in the right city. There are lots of cities where that would be pretty miserable. So
Yeah, dude. Imagine biking in Cleveland. Holy shit.
no. Yeah.
It's pretty small. You could probably make it through in like a mile.
Fucking
True.
SF is pretty bike friendly, but also like just biking up those like
shit
streets, the streets that not the shithole, just the streets that go like super like they get super elevated. I feel like it'd be kind of a pain.
It's probably like that in Seattle
True.
too. You go downhill, bro, you're straight. You go uphill, you're fucked.
You're not going uphill. You're just going down.
Seattle's so hilly. It's intense there.
It's like a 14-mile hike that some would say.
I got it. I said that earlier. Took me a second. I was like, that's a weird reference. 14-mile hike. Oh, wait. Before we move on,
Yep.
Yes.
I have to throw in a plug for we move on from the like urbanism stuff that was putting everybody to sleep. If anyone was not put to sleep by that, there's an excellent book. it's a great intro to all this stuff called Happy City. It's like actually a super enjoyable read. I made Charlie read it, and she loved it. So
we'll have Charlie come on soon for a book review on the podcast.
You should. It's good. It's very good.
So does it basically just do a generalization about all these other types of things that help like improve quality of life and that kind of stuff, or?
Yeah, honestly, that's pretty spot on, actually.
Yeah,
yeah, I read it.
That's actually lit.
Speaking of Europe, Christian always harps on about his study abroad experience in Europe, but I know
Indeed.
we have another guest on that also has some study abroad experience. Do you want to talk about it, Drew?
This is true. I did do that. Wait, Christian, you went to Spain, right?
No, do not do this, Drew.
No, it's okay. I'll do it. I'll do it quickly. Yeah, I'll just answer in yes and no questions. I promise.
Okay. I mean, that was my
Yeah.
Okay, where in Spain? I don't know if you can answer that yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
No, Madrid mostly, and then a little bit of Barcelona, Sevilla, Valencia. All the towns, man. Shut up, Haran. Don't sigh at me, you little fucker.
Very cool. Very cool.
Definitely not as cool as the places Drew went to. Tell him, Drew.
I was in Scotland.
Yeah.
It was fun. I never know how to describe anything.
Do an accent for us.
Scottish accents are so hard to do.
Bro, they're so thick. They're so thick.
It's funny because
Yeah.
I'm on season 5 of Peaky Blinders. I just finished it today because I had no class today. Irrelevant, but in season 5 there are I guess for a little bit there are like Scottish people that just like actually for a good amount. There's Scottish people that like come down to England and like they're like the villains, I guess, for the series. And I had the captions on for when they started talking. I couldn't. I mean, it's not that bad, but there are like certain like stuff like the way they say it's like kind of hard to hear what they're saying or understand.
Yeah. I would do a Scottish accent, but I don't want to look like a bell end. So
Hey, okay.
I told you guys it was coming. I almost forgot about it. Anyway, I will do a Scottish accent. Okay, the only thing that I can say in a Scottish accent is like the 3-word thing that they always say. Like, I don't know, if you see someone, you'll just be like, they'll be like, "You right, mate?"
Oh.
And that's it.
That's
all I
actually
have.
really good.
That was good.
That's it.
And that's the course
Yeah.
you learned in Scotland. How to get that saying down. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was, it changed me. So what can I say? Study abroad changed me. No, but honestly, listen, let's get deep for a second. So it actually did, because I basically had no friends in high school, which was pretty sick. That was pretty fun. And then I went to college, and then I like kind of had friends, but like, I don't know, not many of them were guys,
Yeah, Haran.
And then
I didn't know Drew, man. Come on.
Yeah.
he didn't know me then. And then I went to the UK, and like this crazy thing happened, which was that most guys there were not assholes. Like they were like real people. They would talk about, their feelings and shit. And that had not been my experience in the US. So I was like, wow, maybe I'm not insane. And then made some friends there, which was pretty cool. In contrast, so making friends was pretty cool. And then when I didn't have friends, that was also pretty cool. But but yeah, no, it was good. I did make some good friends. I took a few classes. I took a bagpipe class, which is actually, I think, at this point, it's kind of embarrassing. Actually, that I went to Scotland and took a bagpipe class. It's a bit on the nose. But yeah. And then I took one engineering class, which was super interesting, because they do their courses completely differently there, where like all the engineering classes I took at Virginia Tech, we have like homework every week. Sometimes it's graded, and then we have multiple exams and a final exam. There we had one exam, and that was the only thing that was assessed the entire semester.
Yeah.
So like your grade was your grade on the exam. We had 2 labs, but they were like a very small percentage of your grade.
Mm-hmm.
So that was different, and like all of the homework was optional. And I came out of that experience realizing that in order to study engineering, I do need my hand to be held, in fact. So like I did okay, but I definitely didn't learn as much because I was like, I could do this homework or I could go out.
Yeah.
And not do it, and nobody would care. So, but overall it was a great time. I did like a couple small trips by myself. I think the best part about the experience was that I just went by myself. Like I just like found classes that would transfer and then applied as like a visiting student and then just went. So I actually saved money during that time, which was crazy because I was just paying tuition there, which was cheaper than tuition at Virginia Tech because I'm out of state. Yeah, it was good. I had a fun time.
Wait, that's actually crazy. Why the fuck do we go to school in the US if it's cheaper to just go abroad, bro? Fuck us, man.
But you were in state.
I know, but like
it wasn't cheaper than in-state.
If like say I chose a school that was like out of state or whatever, like in California or something, why not go to like anything else in the world?
Yeah.
For like a year.
Canada.
Even. I could just go for a year and transfer it, whatever.
Yeah.
When I was there, actually, I thought about transferring. Because I made so many friends and like so many, probably like 3, but and just had like a great time. I think that my favorite thing was that like my sarcasm was completely uninhibited there. Like it was, I never had to tone it down. Like everyone, they're just always
on
ready
the same
for
level.
it.
Yeah.
Always, which was that was a cool experience.
Did they ridicule your American accent?
Honestly, not that much. They do like.
I always get made fun of when I go there, man. Not Scotland, but in England in general. Right, yeah.
But it's your family though, right?
Yeah.
So it's just
I feel like that's different.
I got like the waiter also made fun of me. They're like, I thought, can you have some water? And she's like, you want some water? And I was like, give me the fucking water now.
Sorry, Haran. Would you like some water? No, I mean, they did occasionally. Actually, the funniest thing is that, so I lived with like 10 people in a flat, and 2 of my flatmates did, I remember their American accents they did like very distinctly. One of them, he just always sounded like Kanye. Like he was just like imitating Kanye. Clearly he just listened to a lot of rap and like that was his impression.
Yeah.
And like watched interviews because he really liked Kanye. And then this other girl in my flat, this was the best one actually. She sounded exactly like Steve Urkel when she did an American accent. And only ever Steve Urkel. Like everything she said.
Did I do that?
Yeah. It was hilarious. I thought I had like a decent English accent down, and then
did you like hide among them, like you make sure that nobody knew that you were American, or were you like boldly guns blazing, like freedom flags on your like biceps and shit? You know,
I took a lot of pride in like trying to blend in, but because it's a certain point, like it gets annoying because like everything we say is different. Like people don't really ever say thanks. You know, they're like
cheers.
Oh, cheers. You know, but like you can't say cheers with an American accent. It sounds fucking awful. So like
cheers, mate.
Bloody wanker.
Yeah, it's like you walk into a store and someone holds the door and you're like, oh, cheers, man.
Bloody old chap.
That's so sick that you held that door open for me. Cheers. Yeah, so I didn't do that. I actually said it. So I never said it. I was like, I feel like it wouldn't go well. And then I was in a store once, and this American girl walked in, and she's checking out, and she was like, cheers, thanks. And I was like, I will never say it. That's like decided. It sounded so terrible. But what I used to do, just casually, like when someone would hold the door open for me, I would just like under my breath say it with a British accent, just so I could blend in for like half a second. I'd be like, cheers. Just, but that's as far as I got. Other than that, I was, American flags on the biceps and guns blazing.
And another funny thing that Drew does is like when he dances, he kind of like dances like a grime artist kind of does, like with this like he does a lot of like I don't know.
Not well though.
I don't know how to describe it, but like he'll pull like a gun sign kind of, but like and then he'll just like be like pointing it, and that's like, kind of like how like crime artists be like moving like on the stage when they're when they're rapping.
Bow.
So I don't know if you picked it up from there, but I just remember seeing that once, like at downtown at Blacksburg, and I was like, oh my god, this is kind of crazy.
It looks so stupid. I think I picked it up there because I was not yet 21 and I didn't have a fake ID because I was irresponsible. My like formative, I studied abroad sophomore year, so like my formative club years were there. Formative sounds like way too intense. I really that implies too much like skill that was acquired. You know, like it was a
leave it up to interpretation.
It formed me, but not in a good way. Anyway, yeah, and there's just a lot more like hand movement that happens. You know, like people like be cutting shapes. You know, with their feet. I can never do that, but like it's just different. And then I came back and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. And then everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then now it just never goes well.
I thought it was hype. I don't know, but
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers, dude.
I wish you could redo the intro with cheers, cheers, cheers.
Bloody,
Maybe next time.
bloody gorgeous.
But one final fun fact to end the episode on it. My parents met in Scotland, actually. So.
Oh shit! I actually remember that.
Yeah.
You were there?
Wait. Wait.
I remember that I'm your dad.
At Strathclyde, yeah, at Strathclyde.
At university, as they say.
At uni. At uni. Uni. Yeah.
Was that the end of your fun fact?
That was the end of my fun fact. Yeah. So I have emotional connection to that place. I've been to Scotland once in 2011. It was okay. I think like the fog kind of ruined it. It was very foggy every day.
The fog.
Oh,
the fog.
Okay.
They have like really nice outdoor castles. I mean, I want to say outdoor
castles.
I love my good old indoor
castles and the outside area around the castles are very nice. Like there's some nice locations.
What about the castles that are inside the underground mall?
We'll never know. We gotta dig them up. Right, our show. We'll get on it.
Those are cool. They're actually inside the Forever 21.
Cheers.
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 All right, I have to ask a stereotypical question of Scotland. Did you try haggis?
I actually didn't because I'm a loser.
God.
But
no, it sounds absolutely dreadful, as they would say.
Atrocious.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen some food-y type shows though where they'll eat haggis at like a good restaurant in Scotland.
Yeah,
and it's like not that bad. I think it's like a blood sausage. Is that?
It's blood sausage, I think, but it's also the casing is made out of, I think, sheep stomach.
Tasty.
That's what I remember the most about it. Is that it's like sheep stomach, and it's like a turducken but Scottish and all sort of weird shit. It's like a thing stuffed inside another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Scottish food was not like the best, but they just have a lot of other food there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, curry is huge in the UK because colonialism. So thanks for that one.
That's one.
Racism. Back to our other point.
Yeah. Literally the only reason they have good food.
Yeah. Did you not have beans on toast?
People do actually eat that.
Yeah.
People eat their that. People.
That's a wonderful insight you get from this podcast.
Yeah. I didn't have haggis though.
That's okay. Yeah, I think that's probably for the better.
You're right. I think.
You know what's for the better?
Better or worse?
I think we should end this podcast here.
Oh.
That didn't sound right.
Yeah, you sound so depressed.
So sad.
Yeah.
So as Drew had to end his study abroad trip to Scotland, we also have to end this wonderful episode. We want to thank Drew for coming on. Had a fun conversation with you, and nice to actually talk to you instead of just saying hi at my house or like Todd's or something. So that's kind of nice.
Cheers.
Do you have anything to plug, like Instagram or like a message
or another book?
Another book, yeah.
Honestly, no. Yeah, I don't have anything to plug. I think I've lost. I don't think I have any respect left for outros or intros after my intro. Like, I don't deserve to ever intro or outro again in my life. So if you if you've forgotten what my intro is like by now, just go back and listen, and you'll be reminded of.
Yeah, just restart the episode, give us another play, a little bit more money. We definitely want to thank Drew for coming on. He didn't plug himself, but we'll have his social in the featuring in our title of our episode, our Instagram, all the fun things will be over there. But yeah, again, thanks Drew for coming on. If you guys enjoy this episode, make sure you check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts per se, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts from. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.